Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. I want to, I have an idea. Hi, friends. Thank you for being here. If this is your first time, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Congratulations on your practice. This is a internet social media sangha. And here we study the correct teachings transmitted from Shakyamuni, the original Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, through all of the scholarship of thousands of years. His ultimate teaching, that of the Sadharma Pundarika Sutra, the Lotus Sutra, the self-manifesting method for awakening the mind, the experience of the truth, the foundation of all life, that perception we call Buddha, with the doctrines and elucidations of our modern day mentor, teacher, Bodhisattva Nichiren. It's quite a mouthful. Many times as I've endeavored to explain, contemporize, make plain the hyperboles and teachings, the stories of all of the sutras, the teachings of Shakyamuni, I've used words that relate more directly to our modern experience, yeah? So it is always kind of a delight that when I read older sutras, although they're just provisional and you just help add some depth of understanding to our reading of the Lotus Sutra and our methodology of chanting Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, they're not by themselves the way to enlightenment. The Lotus Sutra is. We know that. But the delights come when I read in, and these are all translations, so I have to unravel the biases in the translations. It's just part of what I have to do. But when the words that the translators use in these earlier sutras to translate them echo my insights, my sharing, my language of straightening out a lot of what's been translated of the Lotus Sutra and Nichiren's letters, I get a little giggle inside, right? It's very validating that others who may not be indoctrinated into certain systems of organizations, groups, sectarian. There are several groups out there. And the book I'm holding in my hand is from yet another. A group, though, that's been put together solely for the purpose of translating the Tripitaka, which we know are earlier, right, teachings. However, they're not trying to indoctrinate anyone into a sect. They're just trying to do the best they can at translating the ancient texts from Japanese, from Chinese, so on and so forth. And so their bias, in a way, can be a little bit more obvious and a little more subtle, but it doesn't tend toward a leadership, a group, an organization, a person, right? We practice the law, not the person. Follow the law, not the person. We hear this constantly from Shakyamuni himself all the way through the scholarship to Nichiren. Follow the law. Don't follow people. As a Sangha, we share with one another. We get insights from one another. Some of us are more experienced than others, but there's no hierarchical religious structure. Buddhism is a self-practice. It is up to each and every one of us to discover our own insights. So be very, very, very mindful of anyone who says, he's great, she's great, they're the seed, they're the reason for this, they're the source of this. No. I heard that a lot when I was in NSA, SGI. There's a cult of personality in these groups. And the same thing exists in the sects, in the temples, in the hierarchies of the priests, monks, whatever you want to call them, nuns. That's not Buddhism. By Shakyamuni's own admonitions, that's not Buddhism. Buddhism is the practice. Buddhism is Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Buddhism is your mind. Period. And so I think I'm going to read from this book. This is from the BDK, that organization I was referring to, and their English Tripitaka. And, people are people, so they're going to have their biases. Whether they're Asian, growing up in Asia, everyone's aware of Christianity, Muslim, Islam, on and on and on, right? Jews. I remember spending a good amount of time studying the Kabbalah, and all sorts of religions. We don't need to go into my history, but so the rhetoric, it's tainted, right, with terms that seem universal, but they're universally religious. They're not universally Buddhist. So I'm constantly catching these, because in Buddhism, those words create doubt. They create confusion. They create slippy, slidey interpretations of things. Buddhism is absolutely clear. So please rely on me to always call out that the emperor is naked. That's my sole mission in life. I'm the guy in school who's always a pain in the butt. Hey, a lot of people would say Nichiren was a big pain in the butt. They tried to kill him for it. So I wear that as kind of a badge of honor. So I want to start with one little quote here, because you guys who've been with me for a while, I'm constantly hammering on Buddhism is about the mind. It's about attitude and intent. You don't get Buddha from outside. It doesn't come from the clouds or another planet or another person, certainly, right? It's not bequeathed to you. It's not even something that you find. It's already extant. It's part of the process of life. What changes in your practice is your instantiation of knowledge, your instant perceptual shift in that life is not happening to you, that is happening for you, of you. And that Buddha-ness, been there all along, it's part of it. You just haven't been aware of it, awake to it. You've been falling through life, waiting for things to happen so you could respond. As a Buddhist, you don't respond, you act. You act because you have confidence in how life works, in how your life works, in how you need to do certain things, take certain actions toward life affirmation, success, whatever that is. It's you driving life, not life driving you. It sounds so simple, but it's a major mental shift, yeah? So a very brief quote from the second chapter of this book. Inside the sentry post, he should erect mighty guardians. To explain samadhi in brief, it is to dwell single-mindedly upon an object. Again, the word object here is a verb. Objective, if you will. The object of my single-mindedness is Buddha-ness. Yeah? In its broader meaning, there are again distinctions. Great being, listen attentively. You, great being, listen attentively. The Buddha has taught that all is empty and that this is the mental equipoise of perfectly awakened ones. It's almost poetry. To understand that nothing is substantial in and of itself. In this one sentence, impermanence, anatman, the moment-to-moment manifestation of life, does not carry baggage with it. It doesn't carry things. It perceives things. And those things change moment to moment to moment, like everything in the universe, including you and I. We know this. Deep within ourselves, we know this. And so that's this word emptiness. Simply means that as we grasp things, we have the illusion that it is a permanent thing, but it is not. It is ising every moment as we are. But with our minds, we can perceive that, which is how we liberate ourselves from all of the plethora of emotions and sensations and anxieties that immediately come along with making things permanent. Ownership. The minute you own, you fear loss. You see, it's an avalanche of misery. But that moment when you perceive that everything is just existing moment to moment, then there's really nothing to grab or own or lose. Everything is a process. It's, what's the word I'm looking for? Liberating. We need to remember that word because we tend to use the word attachment and detachment. But what's attachment and detachment about is exactly what I just described. We're either completely engaged in trying to hang on to stuff, or we realize that there's really nothing to hang on to, that in the next moment there it is in its process of instantiating, duration, and demise, dissolution. We're just following right along with it. This is life. It's very liberating. Let's read it. I'm not done. This is my favorite part. Samadhi, right? Profound meditation. What is samadhi? Samadhi is knowing the mind by direct witness, and it is not obtained from anything else. Let me read that again. Samadhi is knowing the mind by direct witness, and it is not obtained from anything else. Those are those little giddy moments I get. Yes, this is what I keep saying. It's important to know that the experience of awakening, the samadhi meditation's object, is this entire liberation, which is being fully aware of the mind as it is behaving in this moment-to-moment existence, not being driven by the mind's collection of fears and avarice and greed and blah, 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 but in the moment, to witness the mind simply being along with everything else. That is the awakening, and that, by its very nature, doesn't come from outside. It doesn't come from other. It isn't given to you. It's nothing you qualify for. There it is, in the mind. That sounds like Buddhism is about the mind. There's no magic, no mysticism, although you could argue the mind is a bewilderingly amazing process, yeah? Such a state is the concentration of all Tathagatas. Therefore, it is explained as great emptiness and consummates sarvajna, or jnana. So this is the goal. This is the great Buddha Samadhi. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. And this, from a sutra that Nichiren has already referred to many times, if only to tear it down, but not the sutra. See, this is something people don't understand about Nichiren either. Nichiren talks about all these previous sutras and their attendant schools of thought. And what Nichiren criticizes isn't the sutra. These are the words of Shakyamuni. If anything, Nichiren reads them out and says, look what it says. What he's criticizing are the people, the scholars, the teachers, those who would take these teachings and use them for their own gain, for power, for politics, for lands, for support from the government. Their object shifted from enlightenment to personal gain. This is always the disease in anything, let alone Buddhism. Buddhism simply can't tolerate that mindset because that is not the way of enlightenment. Self-enlightenment, certainly. Why do you want to be enlightenment? Why are you a Buddhist? I don't know if this will inspire you or if it'll be something all of you will enjoy. I would like to try something, though. I'm going to open a door for all of you. I would like, and if none of you respond, then I'll know. But I would like to occasionally put, maybe at the end of these videos or somewhere in the middle, if there's I'm off the cuff, nothing scripted. I think it's more pure that way, whatever that means, right? It's just, I have great confidence in Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, so that when I'm speaking to you from this place of the Lotus Sutra and practicing Buddhism correctly, however it spills out of my mouth, and there are many times when I say things that make me laugh because they're unexpected to me, I just have great confidence in our ability to communicate Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. And if it comes out a certain way that's easier for a great number of people to understand, then that's what I'm doing this for. I'm trying to uncloud and unmystify what is purely a practice of awakening. for each of us without the bull crap. Yeah? So I have confidence in that. And if I script it, I start feeling like I start questioning, how are people going to hear this? What do I want them to hear? It doesn't freaking matter what I want you to hear. What matters is that I am voicing my own insights and experience of Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, like-mindedly, however it spills out of my mouth, that it's absolutely honest, contemporaneous to my practice and sharing it with you. My words are in service to our enlightenment, our practice. Period. I have no illusions about, I'm just a guy. I've spent a lot of time searching my own mind. From Buddhism, from art, from being a painter, from physics, I've done many, many things. But Buddhism's the only thing that has satisfied, certainly for a great length of time. I've had my moments of doubt, but I continually come back because there's too much evidence in my own mind of the clarity of this practice. I can't get away from it without feeling completely like self-betrayal. You see what I'm saying? So here's my thought. What if I ask you? You don't have to have great video equipment or any of that. Phones today are amazing. If you've got a cell phone, and I'm thinking probably you do, if you could lay it on its side, I want you to take a video, right, of yourself. And don't take it like this. Yeah, no. Put the camera down on something on its side so that the format of the video will be horizontal, not vertical. That's a TikTok video, yeah? And maybe you've done this on TikTok. But I'd like you to do it this way. And I'd like it to be about 2 minutes. And I don't want it to drag on. I just want you to answer one simple question. And give it some thought. Why am I a Buddhist? This is why I'm a Buddhist. Now, from somebody who just rattles on and on and on, I understand 2 minutes can seem very brief. But if you time it, 2 minutes, you can say a lot in 2 minutes. Anyway, I'm not being, if you go 2 minutes and 1 second, I'm not going to discount your video. But I don't want 10-minute diatribes. I just want a simple answer, right off the cuff. Don't spend a lot of time scripting. Maybe you have to script it. I won't be that, what's the word I'm looking for? Authoritarian. I just want you to say to me, to the world, I'm a Buddhist because da-da. And I'd like to, I don't know what I'm going to do with those. If I get a whole bunch of them, I probably will put them in sets of 2 or 3 and infuse them in multiple videos as kind of like this little feature inside the video, just to let our Sangha know what we look like, what our different motivations are, right? I want us to feel closer. To put a human face to this study engagement on this channel. I think that would be really fun and exciting. Let me know what you think in the comments. But email, and again, if they're over 2 minutes and too high resolution, you probably won't be able to fit them in the email. So just, they don't have to be 4K, just 720p is fine. I'm a Buddhist because this is why I'm a Buddhist. A couple of minutes, and I'll montage them into my videos, and we'll have this little feature for a while. We'll see. It's not like we have hundreds of thousands of subscribers yet. I wish. And, make that a reminder to go ahead and like and subscribe right now. But I would like to know. I think a lot of us would like to know, right? And we're social animals. So let's shake hands with that. It's okay. That's a sangha. We're like-minded. We all have different motivations. We're all trying to overcome certain aspects of ourselves. Maybe that's our whole motivation for being. I'm a Buddhist because I'm tired of finding myself in the same situations over and over again. That's a great one, isn't it? Most of us probably relate to that one. But you may have something specific to your life. What is it? Please resist the temptation of making a 300 bullet point list. Well, then I could see why you're Buddhist, actually. Anyway, it's just an idea. I thought I'd put it out there. I think it could be as informative as perhaps even entertaining. Nothing professional, please. So, taking up half the video. We are going to talk about this one. VairovacanaBhiSambodhi. We've heard about it from different schools. This is translated from the Chinese by a German person from the Numata Center for Buddhist Translation and Research, 2005. The copyright is by Bukkyo Dendo Kyokai and the Numata Center for Buddhist Translation and Research. So this is referred to most often as the BDK. And you can see on the cover, it's the, I don't know if you can read that with all the shine. There we go. The BDK English Tripitaka, right? So, yes, this is an older sutra. Yes, this is not the ultimate method of practice. But I find it engaging that the Shakyamuni, I use that math analogy all the time. Once you study algebra and you learn how to use letters in equations, it's still built on the knowledge of how numbers work. How we have a number system that's base 10, right? 0 through 9. How numbers work together, how we use them together. What numbers mean, and how they can be used to express a truth, a situation, a rule of manifestations. Right? We can turn it all into Buddhism because Buddhism is knowing all. But my point is, when you get to algebra or trigonometry or geometry or quantum physics, you don't lose the numbers. The numbers are still there. The numbers are throughout, aren't they? What changes? What changes is their depth of meaning, the potential that the numbers 0 through 9 have, written with letters of the alphabet as position holders for numbers. How profoundly can we express our intuition, our knowledge, our experimentation, our experience of the whole of the universe with these little numbers? That's what mathematics is, yeah? So, again, the value of understanding numbers as 1 + 2 = 3 is quintessential to understanding space-time. We don't eschew the earlier teachings of mathematics in order to then understand a new teaching of mathematics. We simply build upon it or pry deeper meaning from it, or let go of certain assumptions that are no longer useful and replace them with much more powerful assumptions. That's how math works. Well, that's how Buddhism works. The early teachings were setting a foundation. But those foundations, though the rhetoric may have changed, and certainly in the translations they may, but the meaning of that from the first sermon Shakyamuni explored sharing, none of what he taught changed his method of teaching, and the depth of understanding that changed until we finally got to the capacity that the Lotus Sutra now says, now that you know, all of those other methods are not the ultimate goal, the ultimate method, the ultimate way for doing what has been discussed. This Lotus Sutra is the way I myself, Shakyamuni, awakened. And it is universal. It is super easy to do. Anyone can do it, no matter their level of understanding. You don't need to study those 40-some years of teachings. Just do this. But still, 3,000 years ago, he was talking to the same people. So he wasn't really saying, forget everything I've told you. What he was saying is, with everything I've told you as tools for understanding, now to attain that very lofty goal that I've been talking about all this time, now you can do it simply like this. And you can do it like this because you understand. Because you have the capacity that when I say do this, you have a depth of meaning behind it that you instantly attain insight from. Right? When Shakyamuni first started to teach the Kigon, the Avatamsaka, the flower garland, whatever you want to call it, that one sermon, it was so immense. It was so immense in its scope of the experience of enlightenment that it knocked everybody down. What the hell are you talking about? So he didn't teach it very long, a couple weeks. And then he backed off and thought, oh, well, this didn't happen overnight to me. It took 12 years of hardcore meditation and self-perception and concentration for me to finally get to this insight that is, Buddha-ness. So it's very unfair of me to just dump this on people in this way. They have no way of understanding it. Let me back off and take people step by step so that they can emulate, in a way, the steps of my own insights and how I came to this, to this, to this, to this. And now, by the way, with the Lotus Sutra, now I'm going to tell you what it was like, what it was that I did with all of that prior knowledge to instantly, poof, awaken Buddha-ness. You can do the same. And in the future, thousands of years from now, human beings will have evolved, minds will have evolved in their capacity to conceptualize what I'm talking about to the point where They won't have to study all of this. They'll intrinsically be so close to understanding, although they'll be barraged with everything as obstacles, distractions galore. Sound like anything you've experienced today? It has to be simple. It has to be straightforward, because there's so many distractions that if I make it a step-by-step practice, by day 2, I'm going to go bake a cake. You won't have the commitment of attention span. So it must be direct. It must be simple. And it is. Namu. Here I am ready, completely single-mindedly ready to do this. Myoho Renge Kyo. Poof! I get it. Where to go? Oh, do it again. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. I'm starting to feel something happening. You do it multiple times. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. At some point, very quickly, when you stop and move around, the world will feel different. Your body will feel different. Everything will, the way your eye processes light will be different. Everything will be different. You won't understand why, or you may. But you know something's going on. So you want to know, what is it that's going on? Study. A little bit of study, a little bit of reading. And you'll come across something and go, that's what it is. You'll have an insight. You'll see your life differently. You'll see your history of moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. See, Buddhism is a self-discovery, manifesting your Buddha-ness. Yeah. I don't know how much of this I'm going to get to today because I've just talked about it, but are you ready? I'm not going to read the forwards and all of that. The first chapter is the stations of the mind when entering the mantra gateway. Now, I caution you, the discussion of mantras in this Vairovacana. What's the common name for this Vairovacana Sutra? Is it the Eternal Life Buddha? I hate it when I don't remember things like this. The Scripture of the Enlightenment, Supernatural Transformations and Empowerment of Vairovacana. Translated by, should remember this name, Subhakarashima, the Tripitaka master from India, together with the Shramana Yixing during the Greater Tang Dynasty. This is the very document that Nichiren tears apart. Remember, Subhakarashima read Tendai's documents and thought, I want to be as popular as Tendai. Tendai is like a freaking god in China. He's like the orator, the Buddhist authority. Well, I want to take that place. I want to be the one everyone comes to. So what is it about Tendai that he's doing that's so significant? And he finds the 3,000 realms in a single thought moment, doesn't he? And so he works with this Yixing character in China and makes up his own stuff to indicate that this sutra already had that. Tendai didn't discover anything. My sect, my teachings, my Buddhism, well, we had it all along. We just didn't boast about it. What a jerk. So let's read this. Let's see how it reads. Let's see what he says, right? Should be interesting. We'll just start it. Thus have I heard. At one time, the Bhagavan was residing in the vast adamantine palace of the Dharma realm, empowered by Tathagatas, in which all the Vajradharas had all assembled. The great pavilion, comparable to the king of jewels, born of the Tathagatas' conviction and understanding, play, and supernatural transformations, was lofty, without a center or perimeter, and variously adorned with great and wondrous jewel kings, and the body of a bodhisattva formed a lion throne. Did I say that there was hyperbole in Buddhist writing? These wondrous pictures, right? Picturescapes, trying to conceptualize just the simplicity of an all-knowing mind. That's all that is. Those Vajradharas were called the Vajradhara Gaganamala, the Vajradhara Gagana Vikrama, the Vajradhara Gagana Sambhava, a bunch of other names. Oh my God. Anantasa Tatvada Tuparitrana. Yeah. The Indian language can take a paragraph in English and make it one word. It's amazing. So anyway, I won't bore you with all the names. You can read it if you like. Whew. Again, the attendant personality types, the personages that this oration is speaking to. Accompanied by a multitude of Vajradharas, because I'll just point out 30 of them, and now I'll say, well, there's a lot of them. Equal in number to the dust motes of 10 Buddha fields, with these at their head, and surrounded in front and behind by great bodhisattvas, such as, who counts by dust motes? Such as the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, the Bodhisattva Maitreya, the Bodhisattva Manjushri, and the Bodhisattva Sarvanivarna Viskambin. The Bhagavan expounded the Dharma, namely the Dharma gateway of the state of the equality of body, speech, and mind through the empowerment of the Tathagata's sun as in the light of day, not sun as in junior, which transcends the three periods of past, present, and future. Why does everything transcend past, present, and future? Because everything happens moment to moment. It's very simple, but the language obfuscates the simplicity, doesn't it? Then with the bodhisattvas headed by Samantabhadra and the Vajradharas headed by the Lord of Mysteries, through the empowerment of the Tathagata Vairochana, there was swiftly made manifest the inexhaustible treasury of adornments of the equality of the body. Likewise, there were swiftly made manifest the inexhaustible treasuries of adornment of the equality of speech and mind. These were not produced by the body or speech or mind of the Buddha Vairochana, and the limits of their arising and disappearing in all places cannot be apprehended. Okay, so he's going to speak all knowledge now. Yet all the actions of Vairochana's body, all the actions of his speech, and all the actions of his mind proclaim everywhere and always in the realms of the sentient beings in the Dharma of the words of the mantra path. Moreover, he assumed the appearance of Vajradharas and the Bodhisattvas, Samantabhadra, Padmapani, and so on, and proclaimed everywhere in the 10 directions the Dharma of the pure words of the mantra path, so that all the steps from the initial generation of the Bodhi mind up to the 10 stages may progressively satisfied in this time the seeds of the karmically determined lives of the varieties of sentient beings who have been born and nurtured by karma may be eradicated, and thereby may also occur the sprouting of wholesome seeds. Did you follow all of that? It's really simple. I'm going to pause here because I'm going to talk about what that pablum of words is saying. Quite simply, and you know Vairocana Buddha isn't a man. It's a personage. It's a type of thinking. It's about the mind. And so basically what he's saying here is, as we're going to discuss the nature of a mantra, and yes, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo is a mantra, but it's not a mantra that would have like a dharani. It's not a special sect pronunciation of sounds or words that put in a certain order magically instantiate something. As I've talked about before, Namu is a statement of presence and alertness, the readiness for awakening. And Myoho Renge Kyo is a set of characters that embody the entirety of the teachings. It's more like a song, in that the words of the song are not as important as the rhythm, the melody, the expression, the voice, all of it, all of the senses engaged in pouring forth a mental realization, whether it's love or depression or craving. The song is something that embodies a certain beingness. You can take apart the words and they may have some meaning put together, but the song isn't about the words. It's about what the words are saying. It's about the meaning. Now I'm back on words, but Myoho Renge Kyo, Nichiren takes them apart all the time. But when he does, he never says Myo. He'll say these are characters it's based on, but then he'll go into the greater mental Buddhist perceptive meaning, why that character is there. And Myoho Renge Kyo, quite simply, are the law of enlightenment. They are the experience, the invocation of a state that's already there but dormant in your mind, your Buddha-ness. Yours because it's your particular path to it. But the Buddha-ness is universal. It's the entire universe at once. It's hard to conceive of that in the mind, but it is only the mind that can, which is why you can only attain Buddhahood with a mind as a sentient being, right? Everything else, grass, trees, and so forth, non-sentient, have this quality as well, but they can't perceive it. This is the confusion of what you hear and kind of discount because it's too confusing, is the enlightenment of sentient and insentient beings. But that's what that means. That's a discussion on original enlightenment. Anyway, I will leave you with that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. My patrons, you guys on Patreon and through PayPal, this couldn't happen without you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you can, take 2 minutes out of your day. And maybe do several and pick the best one, whatever. Send me a 2 minutes or less video in landscape format. Why you're a Buddhist. Why am I a Buddhist? This is why I'm a Buddhist. I know I hate that word why, but I think it'd be fascinating. I think it'd be fun. Don't get too heavy with it. Just what's your response? What's the first thought you have? I look forward to seeing, and email them to tlksylvain@gmail.com. tlksylvain@gmail. Once again, it's on the videos, so you'll see them on the placards, but TLK, Threefold, Lotus, L, Quoon, TLK, Sylvain, SYLVAIN, @gmail. Anyway, I look forward to reviewing your submissions. I look forward to putting the video together. It's going to be fun. In the meantime, please take care of your health. Be kind to yourself. Right? Enjoy your practice. Get the most out of it you possibly can. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.